All right, HBCU Legends fans, it's Quincy Mosley of HBCU Legends on Sports Illustrated. It's time to blow the whistle, baby, with Coach Daryl Steward and I to talk some HBCU football. We're going to talk about the coaches' polls. We're going to talk about the most powerful coaches in HBCU football at this time, as well as some of the NFL guys coming from HBCUs, as well as what's happening in the Olympics. And we got some HBCU blood that's going to be participating in the Olympics as well. So sit back, relax, listen in, and we want to hear from you. Let's talk about some HBCU sports. Blow the whistle, baby. All right, this is Quincy Mosley of HBCU Legends on Sports Illustrated. I'm here with Coach Daryl Steward. This morning on Saturday, it's raining here in Houston, but it's Saturday, July 27th. Man, we're almost over it with July, Coach. Can you believe that?
Yeah, good morning to you, Mr. Mosley. How you doing this morning?
Good, man. Look, we are coming into August, and August, what that means for everybody in HBCU sports as well as collegiate sports, that's time for kickoff, baby. All right, Coach, what's going on this morning, man? What's the rundown?
Well, the big talk, FAMU has reported to practice. Coach Cozy in his first 2 days as a head coach. The interview as a first-year head coach, Kyle, it wasn't too pleasing. When you listen to him talk as the first day, you got a lot of new guys, a lot of new players. But something that intrigued me was the amount of players that were on the injury list on the first day. That wasn't good as a head coach. He talked about it. And it was surprising to me to hear that. But, when you have a new head coach and new talent coming in, it's going to be bumps and bruises in the road.
Yeah, I wonder why that is. Do you believe that through the spring practicing as well as the weight training and conditioning that these guys did not follow through, or do you believe it's just you got a lot of new guys transferring into the system? They weren't ready yet. What could have been the issue or a number of issues?
Well, the word I got out of Tallahassee, of course, they lost their president, Dr. Robinson. And so Coach Cozy is still trying to get his staff together throughout that summer process, still bringing in new players. So let's be honest, let's be realistic about this. This is probably one of the reasons why they didn't pick Florida A&M to win the East. It's going to take time, Kyle. He's not going to do what Coach Willis Simmons did in his first year. But it's going to take time, the transition period. Now, he could do a miracle thing, but with time, transition, paperwork, it's just a process. And so just got to give him his due diligence that, fam, you give him his time to transition into the head coaching position.
Well, what about the trainers? Do they have the trainers involved? Are they trying to be able to get the funding for trainers, or is that the need, or is that just there's a deficit somewhere where the trainers are not available?
No, just the word I got, the transition period. Florida has different laws than everybody else, so it takes time for people to get cleared. And, just that whole transition period of getting people in and getting them settled. Strength coaches have to come from other places. And so, it's going to take time. Something that they probably should have taken care of when he got hired. When I listened to him talk on the interview, you can hear that frustration. But normally when you hire a head coach, they bring in their staff, everybody is probably going to take those first 2 weeks. For some strange reason, that didn't happen. And so, with the resignation of Dr. Robinson, that carry on into your football program. They just hired an interim. So a lot of people have to sign off on paperwork. And so let's just hope that they go into the season ready, game one, because Rattlers fans, they don't they don't want to hear any excuses.
They don't want you talking anything bad about the program, innit?
Right.
Anyway, so yeah, man. Hopefully that is a point to clarify and be able to bring some resolution for the Rattlers, because right now, if you have a string of injuries, especially soft tissue injuries like hamstring injuries or something being pulled or whatever, yeah, that could be lingering. That's the thing a lot of people don't understand. Those soft tissue, like a pull groin, oh my gosh, that really could be something that could affect your performance the entire season. So let's see how that translates into wins for these guys. So, Coach, let's talk about the Box to Row coaches poll, man. And Box to Row this year, that's run by Donnell Ware. He does a fine job. He also has that Sirius XM radio program highlighting and spotlighting what's happening in HBCU football. 5 intriguing things came out of the HBCU football coaches poll. And one is, who was number one? And you just talked about the team, but we're just going to go through the 1 through 10, and let's start with number 10. Number 10 was Southern University. The FCS coaches in HBCU believe that Southern has a top 10 program. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, one of our blue blood programs in HBCU, Southern University, has great tradition. You look back at the Marino Castle, Pete Richardson days. Man, those were the glory days of Southern University. And then you had Dawson Odom's run at Southern University. Southern University is a great program. You can win at Southern University. I just think right now they've been making a lot of mistakes. I believe in seasoned coaches, Kyle. I'm from that old school, and I'm not saying Coach Graves is not seasoned. He definitely seasoned. But, the amount of pressure that's on the Southern University football program is kind of like Grambling and Jackson and fam. The school relies heavily on the money. And so the amount of pressure on that program it's almost like you can't make a mistake. You look at what Coach Dooley did in his first year, taking the program to the championship. The next year he went on a kind of a downgrade, and then he all of a sudden gets fired. And so that's what it is at Southern University. And so it's all about putting the pieces together, bringing in the right people that can lead that program to the championship.
Yeah, let's just go back on that right there, man. We have Dooley, who's now on the staff over at Grambling. You said when the first year he came into Southern, he took them back to the SWAC championship game. The next season, they had some troubling things going into the season. He gets fired. It's just, why is it that Southern University fans are impatient?
I don't think it's the fans. When talking to some people in the Booster Club at Southern University, I really understand, at one point of period in time, you had Jackson State and Southern leading in attendance in FCS, not just the SWAC, FCS. So they rely heavily on their football money throughout the year. And when that money drops off, it becomes a problem to the university. And I think what's the problem is they rely on that money so much, Kyle, that they don't want to afford to let a drop off come through. And so That's what's been going on with Southern University. They trying to keep it at kind of like Alabama or LSU. When the money is so big, they don't want it to drop off, and so I think the mess up is coming in on the interview process, making sure coaches understand that when they go in for the Southern University job, that's what's not being clarified, and I think that's what's the problem.
Okay. Listen to a quick question I have for Coach Graves at the SWAC press conference. The main man as the leader of the Jaguars. How has that been for you personally?
Yeah, it's been great. To start off, when you start off as a student assistant to a graduate assistant to a full-time coach to special teams coordinator, recruiting coordinator, coach coordinator, defensive coordinator, assistant head coach, interim head coach 3 times. I take all those lessons that I've learned and from all those coaches that I've had an opportunity to work with and work under and use those to lead the program. I tell people all the time, as much as I played for the legendary Coach Pete Richardson, I coached under him. No secret, he's like a second father to me. But I can't be Coach Richardson. I got to be Coach Graves.
He's got to be Coach Graves.
Right.
But he's had his time, man. And right now, he is in a position to be able to bring back the glory to Southern University. Of course, these guys had a big win in the Bayou Classic under Coach Graves as the interim, but now he's the main man on campus, and we shall see how these guys go for the rest of the season. All right, number 9 is Morgan State. Damon Wilson and the Morgan State team, they hope to rebound this year. It's year 3 for him over there.
Right.
And I think he's been one of the most understated coaches because when he was with Bowie State, those guys were perennial winners all the time. What's your thoughts about that program?
Yeah, I have to agree with you, Kyle. Looking at, they had some trouble on campus last year with the shooting and, canceling games. And his situation is kind of like Coach Barry. He won a couple championships at the D2 level, and now he's transitioning to the Division I level at Morgan. It's a process, and it takes time. I do think, though, that the fans at Morgan State are being a little impatient because of what he's done in the past at Bowie. Now, year 3 is usually a year. I'm not going to say he has to have a winning season or winning championship, but I'm going to say he can't have a losing season. So let's just hope he gets his guys ready to play at Morgan State this year.
All right. Number 8, Tennessee State. George, he has to win this year. They had a winning program last year, but they've got to be able to overcome a lot of obstacles in that OVC. It just seems like they can't ever really challenge well against those OVC teams. Of course, they're outside of the HBCU football spectrum. They have a few games that they will be facing against HBCU teams, but majority with that conference, that really gives them the poor record. But when Eddie George faces HBCU teams, he's done pretty well. What's your thoughts on Coach George?
Yeah, Tennessee State, man, one of the great HBCU programs. You go back to the cold-blooded days and the Cole brothers, what they did there, going all the way to the FCS college football playoffs championship. It's a lot of pressure on Coach George simply because so many people in the head coaching industry wanted this Tennessee State job, and they gave it to him thinking that the championship was coming. And he's done some great things at Tennessee State. But you're in year 4 now. The black college process is, 3 years, win or bust. And he's done some great things, but he just, like you said, hadn't gotten over the hump when you face those OVC teams. And this is something that he has to do in year 4. If not, it's going to be trouble at Tennessee State.
Yeah, you get that feeling that they want Coach George to win big this season. I think last season they had 6 or 7 wins. They need to be able to have 8 to 9 wins this season for that team to be a success. Now they lose their defensive star who won the Buck Buchanan Award for the FCS. Allen, he is going to another team, I believe Louisiana Tech, or somewhere to that nature. So they do lose him, but they still have a good defensive presence, and they were able to recruit some really good guys who committed to the school. So we'll see how Tennessee State handles the 2024 season. 7, TC Taylor and the Jackson State crew. Now, Coach, that's your belt. That's your boys now. They're at number 7. They got the young quarterback, Jacobian Morgan. He was the primary guy during spring, and I think he may still have that job at the starting quarterback for the Jackson State faithful to be able to recognize. So, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, Kyle, Jackson State coming in at number 7 is huge shoes to fill for TC Taylor in year 2. I was kind of surprised that he was picked number 3 in the East, having a lot of the players coming back. Went 7-4 his first year. The word out of Jackson is championship or bust. And yeah, and I think I think this year with FAMU having a transition, I think the Tigers going to want revenge when they go down to Montgomery. It's gonna be a close game, but he has to come up with a game plan to go down in Montgomery and beat that tough Alabama State defense. But he has to win in year 2, Kyle.
Year 3? 3, right?
Is it 3 or 2?
Yeah, last year wasn't his rookie year, so it's year 3.
Okay. Yeah. He has to do it. I mean, and then he's taking over play calling, so I think he understands that pressure and what the fans want him, and that's a championship.
Pressure coming down on me. Oh, yeah. It's pressure, baby. When you're the leader, people don't realize how much pressure it is. All right, number 6, Prairie View A&M. Bubba McDowell and his crew. They received only 80 points from the coaches poll. They are number 6. How do you feel about what's happening with Coach McDowell? Is that a good position for this team that went to the SWAC championship last season?
And the season before that, too. I think this is the most underrated coach in HBCU football. What he's done.
Say that again.
I think this is the most underrated coach in HBCU football.
Amen. Go on, Coach. I agree.
What he's done at Prairie View. Budget has not been always there. He's probably working with a little nothing. He's probably using his own money at times. And, let's face it, they're an academic school. But what he's done at Prairie View to keep them at the top, he hasn't complained about new contracts. I don't even know if he got a reconstructive deal as the head coach over there. But what he's done at Prairie View is just phenomenal. I commend him. Not having a great fan base, but keeping the team in line and keeping the team focused on the championship. Bubba McDowell has done some outstanding things at Prairie View. I think he should have been a little bit higher, Kyle. I think he should have been at that 2 or 3 spot.
Yeah, I agree with you. But the guys who's up next, he may have some points of contention here. That's Alabama State Coach Eddie Robinson Jr. he and Coach Look, man, Coach had a coup this summer, last offseason, I should say, being able to bring in Andrew Body. And Andrew Body took over as the primary signal caller. Matter of fact, the young guy, Demetrius, who was out of Houston, Texas, left the program because Andrew Body came in. So Alabama State is at number 5. They made it into the top 5 over Prairie View A&M. Is that a good position for these guys?
5 or 6, I thought, mainly, somewhere between that line. I think it is. But let's face it, Kyle. I was not really, because I believe in the process and I believe in the resume, the experience. I did not agree with the hire that Alabama State did when they hired him, knowing that he didn't have the experience. But what he's done at Alabama State, coming in, staying focused, and he's one of those coaches that know, hey, I didn't have the experience, so I had to prove myself on the job training. He did that, did an outstanding job last year. He had some big upset wins. So what Eddie Robinson is doing at Alabama State is phenomenal. And it's going to be, I think this probably be his year. If he knocks off Jackson, I don't think anyone else in the conference can beat him.
Oh, Coach went down. He dropped the mic. Nobody else in the conference can beat him. Oh, my God. That is going to mean these guys are headed to the Celebration Bowl, and that's their hope. Coach Rob said that's the mission, Celebration Bowl or bust for the Hornets. So, number 4, Alcorn State. This is just amazing to me. It's nothing against Cedric Thomas. It's nothing against how well the student athletes at Alcorn perform. But to be able to buoy these guys after Fred McNair has left the program and put them in the preseason poll in the SWAC at number 1, and now at the box to row, these guys had them as number 4 in the whole nation in the preseason. That's just amazing to me, man. Why is that?
I have to agree with you, Kyle. Let's face it. Cedric Thomas has some big shoes to fill. He's following in a legend in Fred McNair. Not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 in a row SWAC championships. And, that's a lot of pressure on Cedric Thomas. I think the Alcorn Nation is not being realistic. They do have a new quarterback as well this year. But, I have to agree with you. The Brave Nation has been, outstanding. And to put them at number 4 right now and put that pressure on Cedric Thomas, I don't think that's fair at all, Cal.
It's just, to me, man, I spoke to Charles Edmond, who is the voice of the Braves for over 33 years, and Charles just told me, he said he just believes that a lot of people in the SWAC, they have them as the sexy pick. For some reason, this is the sexy pick, but I would say the sexier pick would be Alabama State, in my opinion. But these guys have them as the sexy pick. Okay, guys. We could talk about that later, but I just think that is a huge jump for a team. But I'm not besmirching the resume of Coach Thomas, who is not brand new to the coaching world. He was the leader over at Pine Bluff at one time, but to be able to get these guys from where they were, losing their long time head coach and somebody ingrained into the Alcorn State family and nation for such a long time, the McNair name meant so much, and for these guys to have a lukewarm year, how they ended the season, and now buoy them up to where they are at number 4 in the nation, that's just, to me, Coach, that's a lot.
It is.
But anyway, let's go on. Howard University is number 3. The Bison, of course, they went to the Celebration Bowl, their first Celebration Bowl last season, and lost against the Florida A&M Rattlers, against Willie Simmons, who's now departed and gone over to Duke University as the running backs coach. But Larry Scott and his program, they have done some great things, Coach.
Yeah, Larry Scott, another underrated coach in our league, done some outstanding things at Howard. A lot of people say when he took the Howard job that it wasn't a good job to take, but he went in there with a plan, went in there with his mission and followed it. And, he's been at the top of the MEAC. And so, look for Larry Scott and the Howard Bisons to do some great things this year on the football field.
Okay, great. Number 2, Trey Oliver and the North Carolina Central Eagles without Davius Richard. And these guys are going into this season. They're my number 1 team, Coach. I just got to be able to put that out there because of what Trey Oliver has done in the past, the stability that he still brings with the program. He's there. He's present. So why number 2?
Yeah, I'd agree with you. They're my number 1 as well. What Coach Oliver, Trey the Truth Oliver, what he's done at Central, man. Central having budget problems. He's been keeping it in the road, winning championships, competing at a high level, still recruiting at a high level. Man, that's a lot of work, a lot of pressure, Kyle. And this guy, he loves his school, and he's doing an outstanding job. And Kyle, he had a change of presidents. So I believe this is their first year with their new president as well, and athletic director.
Right, that's what I was about to say. Dr. Skip Perkins takes over as athletic director, right?
Right, and so anytime as a head coach, when you're transitioning with new people don't want to hear it's going to take time to gel and mesh together. And, let's just hope that Coach Trey obviously has his work cut out for him this year.
Yeah, he does have his work cut out. I think Harrison is taking over at quarterback. Davius Richard, congratulations first. Let's put this out there. I was contacted by some sources to let us know that Davius Richard signed a professional football contract with the Houston Texans. I mean, not Houston Texans, Houston Roughnecks, and Davius Richard is going to be able to take his dual threat ability to the UFL. These guys start in March of 2025, so congratulations and kudos to Davius Richard. He is going to play, just not in the National Football League, especially after that horrendous and horrible injury in the HBCU Legacy Bowl. What's your thoughts about Richard going to the UFL?
Yeah, Kyle, I had to agree with you. Outstanding young talent, outstanding individual, can play the quarterback position. Being at the Legacy Bowl last year and seeing that horrific injury, a lot of people thought he wasn't going to come back. But this kid, he went into the therapy process, went into the training process, did an outstanding job. I'm told he's ready to go. The Houston Roughnecks and Coach C.J. Johnson, they love him. They love this kid with his leadership skills, what he can do as a quarterback. So I think he's going to do well, and who knows? Could be screaming his name in the NFL one year.
Yeah, I think this is a good position for him. Like you said,
right.
You rebound, rehab, get back into the swing of things, get some signal calling underneath your belt in the UFL, have Coach Johnson kind of mentor you, kind of guide you as well. The Roughnecks have some great fans here in the Houston area, man, and being able to get back into that stadium at U of H this year, because they used Rice's stadium last season, is going to help out as well. But I think Davius is in a great position because he will compete for the starting job in Houston, which was unsettled this year after they had gone through several variations at the starting quarterback spot. All right, and let's talk about number one. Number one is Coach Cozy and the Rattlers of Florida A&M. They're going to be at number one in the coaches poll for box to row. Wow. What? Okay, again, I'm not taking anything away from Coach Cozy. Right. It's a brand new program coming in. He's going to do things his way, and I think they were number one or number two when it comes to FCS transfers coming into their program. They lost quite a bit on offense, Coach. We're talking about Musa's gone, Jennings gone, his playmaker, the young wide receiver, the speedy guy is gone. Riley's gone, and we're talking about there's going to be missing pieces that had senior or junior leadership to them as well. Gentle Hunt's gone on the defensive line, and there's a lot of replacements, and sometimes you can replace great talent, but that great talent doesn't mesh as well as fast. Do you think this is the right spot for the Rattlers?
No, not at all. I just here again, you putting unbelievable pressure on a coach that's replacing, let's just face it, a guy that brought FAMU back to greatness in Willie Simmons. And so, I just think it's just pressure, man, that can really, Kyle, let's face it, I had this scenario, and I'm glad you brought that up. I had this scenario from Alcorn State University fan that said they hope he doesn't start off 0-3 because that could carry on into your team. And now they're screaming, Fred McNair back. Let's get Fred McNair back at Southern. Well, from Southern to Alcorn. Well, now you have that in Coach Cozy. He has his first 3 games are tough as well. And, I just think that FAMU Rattler Nation, man, they're tough. They do not accept a losing process. And I just think he's under some unbelievable pressure. Let's hope he can get out of it, Kyle.
Whew. Tough is not the word to talk about how the Rattlers are, man. They are rabid.
Yeah.
Man, but it's a good fan base, man. It brings to have good football and good conversations like we're having today. So those are your top 10. Let's repeat from the box to row HBCU FCS coaches poll. Number 1, Florida A&M. NCCU, number 2. Howard, number 3. Alcorn, number 4. And Alabama State at 5. Prairie View at 6. Jackson State, 7. Tennessee State, 8. And Morgan State, 9. And Southern University Jaguars round out the top 10. All right, we're going to stop for a quick moment and pay some bills. I'm Coyote Mosley of HBCU Legends. That's Coach Daryl Steward. Don't forget, guys, go to alpainrehab.com. That's the pain and rehab consultants of Alabama. They're our sponsors. They will love to have you guys bring in your pain management systems and Dr. McCoomer will go in and help you manage what's going on with your body, with your whole system, and be able to bring you back up to speed. He's done it for a number of years, and he's an HBCU grad from Morehouse College. He was part of the Maroon Tigers. so he's got it going on over there at Alabama Pain Rehab. Also, we have a sponsor from Houston, Texas. We have the Security Guard Training Services. You will be able to go online and take your security guard certification courses with Ricky and those guys, and they do a great job. He's got a number of security guard services across the Houston area, and now he has an online training program that's not only available in the state of Texas, but in 11 other states as well. These guys are certified and they're bonded and they're ready to go to help you launch your career as a security guard. All right, we will listen to a couple of other sponsors and we will be back in a few moments. All right. It's Coyote Mosley of HBCU Legends on Sports Illustrated. I'm here with Coach Daryl Steward. We are back to talk a little bit more about what's going on in HBCUs. Before we get to our picks as the most powerful coaches in HBCUs, let's talk about what's happening in the Olympics, Coach. Right now, the Olympic Games are about to kick off. What are you excited to see in the Olympics yourself?
Yeah, the basketball team on the men's side, I want to see what LeBron James and Steph Curry, those guys are going to be able to do. They was in a close call the other night, but let's hope they
the Sudan pushed them, didn't they?
Yeah. Let's hope they come through and win it all and bring back the gold medals to the United States.
Okay. So for me, it's to see Simone Biles. Guys, if you ever seen Simone Biles in person, she is, if I say tiny, that's an understatement, right?
Yeah.
Coach, she is really, she's a very little person. And to think that little, in that little body, what she's been able to compete at the highest level, she is the GOAT of gymnastics. I don't care anybody say. She is the greatest of all time. And she can leap up to 12 feet and over 12 feet. And she brought a brand new move to the vault, as well as she just put a brand new move to the uneven bars. Think about that. When you have already 6 moves that people can like they're never seen before and never seen executed in gymnastics, named after you, you've got to be a bad girl, right? So what's your thoughts about Simone, man?
Man, Simone is an outstanding talent, man. What she's done for gymnastics, staying at the top of her game, competing at a high level. I think she's not going to have any problem bringing the gold medals back to the United States.
Yeah. Love what she's been able to do. And someone who is kind of connected with me from long time ago, that's Simone Manuel, the gold medal winner from the Brazil Olympics. She was the first African-American woman to ever bring home a gold in swimming. She won the 100 meters in Brazil. This year, she is competing for the 50-meter freestyle, as well as she's competing on the 4x100 relay team for the Americans. She took 6 months off, Coach. This is so amazing. Before the trials, she took 6 months off because she said, I'm overtraining. And she came back and she beat everybody. It was just amazing to see. I went to school with her parents.
Okay.
In New Orleans, Louisiana. We graduated in the same class in 1984 from McDonald 35 Senior High School. Her parents went on to Xavier University. And it's just amazing to see them who her father played for the Gold Rush. He played basketball. He also played basketball for 35 as well. Her mom was an accomplished basketball player and volleyball player in high school as well. So her athletic lineage is deep, and it's also deep in HBCU.
Yeah, Kyle, you mentioned something about the training process. I don't think our fans know how hard it is that you have to train to compete in the Olympics. For her to overcome adversity and to be where she's at, to stay focused, it's just a great accomplishment for her legacy and also her parents' legacy by being from an athletic family.
Definitely, man. And they're just smart people, too, man. Mark and Sharon were 2 of the brightest people in my class in high school. Simone, of course, she has to be smart. She also went to Stanford University and got her degree. And
Yeah.
get this also, this is another remarkable part of what has happened with her progress. In the past year and a half, she got married
Wow.
through the whole deal, man. Think about that, man. Getting married, taking some time off, and still coming back and competing at the highest level in the world. Kudos to her, man. That's just an outstanding testament to what she could be able to do this year for the United States of America. All right. And let's see, Coach. Did you know the Atlanta Falcons has a deep HBCU presence in their wide receiver room?
No, I did not.
Well, let's see here. The HBCU wide receivers and assistant coaches from Atlanta Falcons. This is a name everybody should know, especially from PV and Florida A&M. Offensive assistant KJ Black. You should know that name, right, Coach?
Right, dog. Quarterback from Prairie View A&M, offensive coordinator at Florida A&M, done some great things in the HBCU realm, and he's ready to go. He's ready to go. So let's see if he can bring that Atlanta Falcons team back to the promised land.
Yeah. OJ Hilaire, he's one of the receivers from Alabama A&M. And you have Kadaro Hodge from PV. You know, he's a long time NFLer now, but he's been doing some pretty good things. They re-signed him this year. Dalen Baldwin from Jackson State as well as Morgan State. Now, Coach, that's a name. Dalen, you know, he was one of the Prime's top guys at one time, then fell off graces.
Yeah, Baldwin is an outstanding receiver, big receiver, great body frame, has the mental makeup, can run great routes. I think he's a steal for the Falcons. You know, the big target, 6'3", 6'4" receiver, 210 pounds, can run 4'4", 4'3". And so I think he's a steal. He's one of those athletes that stayed focused. You know, he traveled from quite a few teams. I think he was in the UFL for one period of time, and now he's transitioned to the NFL circuit. So I just think it was a steal for Atlanta.
Yeah, it was definitely great talent. And I think, was it the Southern game? He connected with Shadur on that last toward the end of the game to save the record for Jackson State. That was a really exciting game, man. And Coach Prime was just coming off his trials and tribulations with his health, man. So that was an exciting game. And Chris Blair from Alcorn State, you know, Chris was an XFL star for the Defenders, and now he's with the Atlanta Falcons this season. So, go ahead, Coach. I'm sorry.
No, he has an unbelievable testimony as well. You know, he was a dynamic receiver. You kind of thought he was going to make his living in the XFL, and he did some outstanding things for the DC Defenders. But here again, another big-time receiver that's going to the Atlanta Falcons. And so this gives their receiving room time to grow. They still have a big salary cap. And I'm sure they didn't spend a lot of money on these guys, but they definitely have a steal in these top receivers.
Yeah, definitely do. We have several athletes that come out of HBCUs that will be participating in the Olympics, not all for the American team, guys. This is the interesting thing. So we have Joseph Amara, who he competed at Coppin State. He's going to be the captain for the 4x100 relay for Ghana. For Ghana, man. That's excellent. And then you have Quinera Hayes. Her alma mater is Livingstone College. We're going to talk about Livingstone later in this program. She's going to be running the 400-meter dash for the United States. And then you have Adosi Ibandine, who his alma mater is Hampton University. He will be running the 800-meter race for Nigeria. That's awesome. And then you have Akeem Sherlouf, and he's going to be the North Carolina A&T alma mater alum, I should say, who's going to be sprinting for gold for Liberia, and he's also participating in the 4x100 relay for those guys as well. And final person, we have Danielle Williams, who comes out of Johnson C. Smith, man. That's awesome for that program to have somebody. She's going to be representing the speedsters from Jamaica. And she's going to participate in the hurdles. So we have 5 HBCU alums that will be participating in the Paris Olympics, man. Kudos to you guys.
Yeah, and also, Kyle, kudos to those head coaches from those HBCU programs as well, because, you know, track doesn't get a lot of spotlight. And, you know, these head coaches, to prepare their kids for the Olympics, you know, they don't have the big salaries like the Division I schools, but to put this on their resume is phenomenal, Kyle, and I commend them for it.
Yeah, definitely. And we can't forget the young kid. He's not an HBCU yet. He may be able to get, he may not even go through HBCU. He may go to some big-time program. The young 16-year-old track phenom, Quincy Wilson, we had the honor to talk to Mr. Newhouse a few weeks ago on Ralph Cooper's show, and he spoke about Quincy Wilson, the young guy. He's going to be a part of the 4x400 relay team, and he's the youngest participant for the United States in track and field, as well as all of these sports.
You know when you're really stressed or not feeling so great about your life or about yourself? Talking to someone who understands can really help. But who is that person? How do you find them? Where do you even start? Talkspace. Talkspace makes it easy to get the support you need. With Talkspace, you can go online, answer a few questions about your preferences, and be matched with a therapist. And because you'll meet your therapist online, you don't have to take time off work or arrange childcare. You'll meet on your schedule, wherever you feel most at ease. If you're depressed, stressed, struggling with a relationship, or if you want some counseling for you and your partner, or just need a little extra one-on-one support, Talkspace is here for you. Plus, Talkspace works with most major insurers, and most insured members only pay a $25 copay or less. No insurance, no problem. Now get $80 off of your first month with promo code SPACE80 when you go to Talkspace.com. Match with a licensed therapist today at Talkspace.com. Save $80 with code SPACE80 at Talkspace.com.
What's the easiest choice you can make? Window instead of middle seat? Picking a vendor who sends a great gift basket? Outsourcing business tasks you hate? What about selling with Shopify? Whether you're selling a little or a lot, Shopify helps you do your thing, however you cha-ching. Shopify is the global commerce platform that helps you sell at every stage of your business. From the launch your online shop stage to the first real-life store stage, all the way to the did we just hit a million orders stage. Shopify's there to help you grow. Whether you're selling scented soap or offering outdoor outfits, Shopify helps you sell. Wherever and whatever you're selling, Shopify's got you covered. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/try. Go to shopify.com/try now to grow your business, no matter what stage you're in. Shopify.com/try.
This year. So congratulations to him as well. All right, Coach, let's talk about what's happening at Livingstone. Livingstone received a $10 million check from an anonymous donor, and that is going to help that financially struggling university, which is one of our oldest and most prestigious universities on the East Coast. What's going on?
Yeah, I just think right now, you have great leadership in the program. They have new leadership that they have hired at Livingstone, and they came up with a strategic plan. They followed the mission, and they do an outstanding job. They came up with that $10 million donation, and man, that's outstanding. You know the budget problems that they had, and now to hit the ground running with a $10 million donation is phenomenal, Kyle.
Yeah. Livingstone last season, those guys were struggling, right? And last season didn't know exactly if they were going to be able to even field a team. And HBCU football came out of the Livingstone, and I forgot the other school they participated with. That was the first HBCU football, I guess, game ever. And Livingstone was one of those guys to be there. So right now, they received the check. It's going to be $1 million per month for 7 months, and then they got the check that's going to be able to drop from this anonymous donor. So kudos to them. I think this is a historic moment in sports for us. It's not like the phantom money that from the hemp farmer.
Yeah, let's hope the check clears, man.
The check gotta clear.
Gotta clear.
I'm pretty sure Livingstone has done all of their dotting the I's and crossing the T's on this one, man. We don't want that to happen again. Dr. Davis and the alumni over at Livingstone are very pleased with what has happened. Dr. Anthony Davis is the president of Livingstone, and it's just a great thing to see that these guys, who is a very successful school, man, because I think when we talk about a school that boasts 114 presidential scholars with GPAs between 3.7 and 4.0, and they had 85 students who had GPAs between 3.0 and 3.6 last year at the small institution. But we say small, we talk about still a historic institution that brings a lot of layers to the HBCU story as a whole, and we appreciate everything that has been done for Livingstone, and keep donating, guys. That's another thing. If you're listening to this program, you want to support your alma mater, go support your alma mater. If you don't have an alma mater and you still want to support, there's so many institutions right now who are struggling. We've got Talladega, who's struggling, right? They just had to cease their successful gymnastics program, and we got two colleges that we talked about merging. Coach, who are those?
Shaw University, and I believe it was Shaw and
St. Augustine's.
Yeah, St. Augustine. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So we've got some people say that's going to happen. Some people say that's not going to happen. So we're going to see how that really will happen or not this coming season. So there's still some meetings and debates about the possibility of the merger or not.
I wanted to make this point when you talk about merging, and it's just my opinion to our fans and listeners, because we always get these questions about, people don't want change. Let's just face it. We are in a new generation. Everybody's not going to work. You see the working from home, the virtual workers. Majority of companies, big Fortune 500 companies, are changing now, Kyle, to allow the virtual work home experience, and so they're adopting the change model. Merging, I don't think that's a bad thing, especially when you don't have enough leadership to go around. Let's just face it. We're transitioning. The old is out, the new is in. We're hurting at the leadership position, and so change is good sometimes. You think about the kids having a better experience. Not about you. It's about the kids and having a great experience. We put this in the model of HBCUs this year. It's about the student experience. So do you want these students to suffer, or do you want them to have a great experience while they're at the university?
That's great. That's a really great point because you do want to have the change and you do want to have the success.
Right.
And you can't have success at any level without the main participants. And right now in colleges, it's the students. And
Right.
you got to be able to invest into the students and invest in their lives and their careers and everything, man. So hopefully we can see some of the more of these transformative changes take place at the university, not only for the student athletes, but for a lot of students who come in with the wholehearted purpose of being probably their first time or first person in their family being in a college or university setting. So that's a great point, man. All right, so let's move on to the next segment. Let's talk about what's going on with Southern University, Coach. And you have more of a knowledge of what's happening on the campus. I just briefly read that there was a passing of one of the band members, was it two of the band members from Southern University? What's happening in Baton Rouge right now?
Yeah, man. It's all about the transitioning part right now, Kyle. You have a lot of old professors, new leadership coming in. They just hired a new chancellor. The president is in his second year, and a lot of people don't like change. And sometimes change is for the better. But to piggyback off the student experience, and that's what we're talking about right now, the student experience right now at Southern University is taking a hit because the accountability process, when these young men and women are on your campus, you are held responsible. And, it's just unfortunate that kids come on campus and they want to do great things, but these kids were killed off campus. And so this goes back to that student experience. Are you keeping your kids busy so these type of things won't happen at your university? And it's just unfortunate this kid, it happened to this kid. And we have to do something at our schools with the passing of kids and kids getting killed at an early age. You don't want to blame anybody, Kyle, but this is the second go around of something like this happening at Southern University.
Yeah. Well, prayers to the families of those young people. And I know it's shocking because one of the young men, he just fought for custody of his baby girl and he won custody of the girl and now he is gone. So kudos to him and his family as well. Well, kudos for him to fight for his daughter, but prayers to the family for the loss of his life. We're also talked about Jacoby Jones, and his funeral is going to be today in New Orleans, Louisiana, at Franklin Avenue Baptist Church. It's going on this morning. I think it's starting off at around 10 a.m. Visitation and with the family is going on. If you guys are able to be there, prayers to him and his family as well. Jacoby Jones passed away at the age of 40, 3 days after celebrating his 40th birthday. It's a tragic loss for such a great young person and an HBCU great as well as an NFL champion with the Baltimore Ravens. That's Jacoby Jones. And he did a great number of things for Lane as well when he came to the HBCU side.
Yeah, man. When I heard the news about Dakota Jones, it just devastated me, Kyle, because I remember working on one of his football camps and the thing. Just a guy with I always wanted to make people happy, and he did that. And just to hear the tragedy of him passing, it just devastated me, man. And it just goes back, more and more. You don't have to be a celebrity to experience these type of things. We need to show more gratitude towards the celebs as well, because he did, like you say, he did a lot to help Lane College, and it was just, anytime if the presidents are listening to the show this morning, always, always let your celebs and your former NFL, whether it be women, NBA, whether it be any celeb that you have at your institution, welcome them back at open arms, because you just never know what people are going through, Kyle.
Yeah, you don't. And fortunately, the SIAC just put him into the Hall of Fame. And the ceremony was this spring, and now we're talking about a life lost, man. So hopefully he's going to be doing well over there. All right, got some other news from HBCU basketball to report. I had a conversation with Angel Jackson, who is from Jackson State University. She played under Tamika Reed. Coach Reed was very happy for her. We just found out when I had that conversation last month with Jackson that she is headed to the Firenze League in Italy to play in the Italian basketball league over there, man. And I think that's a great move for her, because she was drafted by the Las Vegas Aces, the final pick of the third round in the last draft. And now she's going to be headed over to Italy to play some basketball to, develop a skill set so she can be able to come back and play for the WNBA or give it one more try again. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I think I read that somewhere where a lot of WNBA players are going to that league as well. It's a new league.
No. That's a different league. You're talking about that 3-on-3 league. That's a new one. All right.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
No, she's going over to Italy to play European league, but the 3-on-3 league, we'll talk about that. But
Okay.
yeah, Angel, she's going to get a shot. But also the Savannah State University, one of their top players last year, Amari Hurd, she's going to be going to play in Kosovo. Man, I mean, she's going to the Ukraine area. So she's going to be playing, not Ukraine, guys. I don't want y'all to be, I'm just kidding. But she's going over to play in Europe as well, some basketball on that team. So we got a number of young ladies who have to be able to take that route, develop their skill set a little bit, and hopefully, man, they can be able to come back and compete.
Yeah, I mean, Angel Jackson was outstanding talent at Jackson State, and she did some great things for Coach Reed in the program. And for her to go overseas and make that money, it's just outstanding, man. And I think she's gonna make a WNBA roster. I
Yeah.
really do.
Yeah. Coach Reed texted me and she said, I'm super proud of Angel for continuing her dream. She is a very special player that has a lot to offer the game. I truly believe that Angel gets more pro experience, she would have another shot at the W. She works hard, she's a rim protector, and she has a great attitude. I have no doubt that she will do a phenomenal job in Italy. So that comes directly from Coach Tamika Reed. Coach now over at UNC, I say, Coach, you ain't got no time for us no more, right?
What she say, Kyle?
She say, I'm practicing right now, Mr. Mosley. I'll talk to you later. No, she didn't say it like that. Don't call me no more. Nah, but Coach Reed, she's doing a great job, man, and I'm proud of her. Everything she does, I'm proud of her. So right now, man, a couple of HBCU guys are in NFL camp. We got Mark Evans, the second over at New Orleans. We have Brandon Parker from North Carolina A&T with the San Francisco 49ers. And let's see, we got Antonio Hamilton, cornerback from South Carolina State with the Falcons, as well as O.J. Hilaire from the wide receiver from Alabama A&M with the Falcons. We got Marcus Rowley over at the Jets, and we have, he's from FAMU, and we have Alabama State's Keenan Isaac. He's going to the Tampa Bay camp. And we got, the big bruiser, Javion Howard over with the Green Bay Packers. Tariq Cohen gets another shot at the NFL. The New York Jets signed him to be a return specialist. That's interesting right there, man, to have him as the return specialist. And let's see, what else?
Jeremy Musa is at Tampa Bay. Hadn't got cut yet.
Jeremy Musa, Tampa Bay. That's a good one. Yeah. Jeremy. So we'll see
also,
how.
Another name, Kyle, that just signed a big contract, I believe it was in the offseason. He's been doing some great things as well. Shaq Davis, a wide receiver.
Yeah, Shaq signed that big deal to go to Philly. So he's up there with the Eagles, man. And I like what Shaq's been doing. Of course, Saints had the first chance to be able to sign him, but the Eagles swiped him off the practice squad with a big contract. And I don't know. I think Shaq, he and Mark, they kind of bided their time on the practice squad for the New Orleans Saints. With the transition to the new offense that the Saints now have in place under Clint Kubiak, I think Shaq would have been great under that offense, So hopefully he still has a chance up there in Philly with Jalen Hurts. So Jackson State's Isaiah Bolden, if we don't remember, he had that horrific injury that took place that happened on Monday Night Football, if I'm not mistaken, man, or Sunday Night Football. And they had to cart him off the playing field. So he's returning. So he's going to be in Patriots camp this season. Remember, Bill Belichick drafted him. So that's good to see. And we have Fort Valley State. They have two HBCUs in their backfield. Emmanuel Wilson from Johnson C. Smith, as well as Fort Valley State. He's at Green Bay along with Howard. So that's good to see. Willie Drew found a home with the Carolina Panthers. I was about to say Canthers. I'm sorry. I cover the NFC South guys with the Saints, and that's one of the jokes from the Saints faithful. They call them the Carolina Canthers. So all right, I'm sorry.
Kyle, I wanted to say, man, shout out to the NFL. When we go to the Senior Bowl and talking to all the NFL scouts, man. They're really, really giving the HBCU players chance to shine, bringing them into camp. I think we've had more than ever right now. And shout out to Roger Goodell, for having the owners to believe in the HBCU process, and along Doug Williams for what he does with the HBCU Legacy Bowl, man, in New Orleans. It's a phenomenal event for our players to show their skills and abilities to the next level. So shout out to those people, man, and just keep up the good work.
Yeah, definitely. So Willie Drew is from Virginia State. He has a chance with the Panthers. Albany State's Glover Stewart showed up to the Colts, as well as Isaiah Land from FAMU. He's with the Colts as well. And we have Jackson State. We already spoke about Dalen Baldwin. He's going to Atlanta. And Norfolk State's Bobby Price to Arizona. And Chris Blair we talked about as well earlier. And, of course, the long-time HBCU in the NFL, Mr. Hargrave. Now he's with the San Francisco 49ers, anchoring that defensive line. And we can't forget a friend to our program, Mr. James the Problem Houston at Lions training camp. All right, guys.
Big fan favorite for the Lions, Detroit Lions at the draft. Draft when they had the draft in Detroit, I was very surprised at his fan base for the Detroit Lions. James Houston doing some outstanding things in Detroit, and man, keep up the great work.
Yeah, and I will be remiss to not report about Mickey Vicker, the lone Alabama State cornerback. He's with the Patriots, and Rashida Liberty, his representative, that's for Xavier Smith from FAMU. He's going to still be in the second camp this season for the Los Angeles Rams. And Ian Wheeler from Howard University, the running back, is at Chicago. And Jamie Gillen from Pine Bluff, the punter, is with the New York Giants. Man, that's pretty good. We have a specialist over there, man. And Terrell Jennings, he's with the Patriots as well. Man, I have to ask this question. We're looking at some really good running backs that are in camp with certain teams, man. And, I thought when you look at what Terrell Jennings was able to do last season with his size as well, are people underestimating his ability?
The running back position is how well you can really hit the hole, how tough are you, and for the NFL, they want to see, are you every down back? The scat backs, the little small guys, they feel like they can get those in the diamond in the rough, but they want the big bruiser Derrick Henry type back right now, and I think that's where our guys like Javion Howard, the kid from Texas Southern, those guys have a chance now because, the running back position is kind of falling off. And it's because of that brutal, can you take that brutal punishment for 4 quarters? And I think our guys right now, they built for it. They went through blood, sweat, and tears. The HBCU way is 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock practice in that brutal heat. And so that's why you see so many of our guys making it and so many of our guys being able to perform at a high level.
Yeah, definitely. And let's see here. If we go on to the next.
I want to tell you this too. I think the Patriots got a steal with Victor, the big corner, the lone cornerback from Alabama State, man. I thought he was drafted, potential. I really did. I hadn't seen a cornerback like that coming out of the HBCUs since Rashad Anderson at Jackson State. And that was probably 20 years ago. This kid is 6'2", 6'3", running 4'4". I just think, right now, majority of the owners are looking at that late round and free agent, getting our players for cheap. I just think the Patriots got a steal with him, man. I mean,
they did. I have to agree with you. I think the Packers got a steal with Javion Howard as well.
Yeah.
So let's see how these guys perform in camp. That's the major thing. They have an opportunity. That's what Coach Rob would always say. Just give them an opportunity and allow them to be able to showcase their talents.
Right.
All right. Before we end the program, Fisk University gymnast Morgan Price, she won the National title this year for the USGA, and let's see, she was number one, and number three was Kirsten Johnson from Talladega. Think about this. HBCUs have only had two programs in 2 seasons. And we had the number one and number three top in the whole world in that competition. Think about how important these young ladies have been to gymnastics in just a short period of time, Coach. That's just phenomenal, right? So, yeah. Morgan Price being honored by the Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame, and she's gained induction into the Hall of Fame already for what she has accomplished. Man, that's just awesome.
Yeah, it is.
2 years as a gymnast, and she's already inducted into the Hall of Fame for what she accomplished as being the top of her craft. And hopefully they're able to keep that program at Fisk University going. She was named the Female Athlete of the Year, and I just have to say kudos to Morgan Price. I followed them from the beginning. I had a great interview with her when she first started as well, and I'm just very, very proud. All right, Coach, let's end our day. Man, I can't you believe over an hour already we've been chatting it up. All right, Coach, who are the top 5 most powerful and most influential HBCU head coaches? Take it. Who are your top 5?
Well, of course, coming in at number 1 right now is Trey the Truth Oliver at North Carolina Central. You know, what he's done for that program and keeping it at a high level, you know, is phenomenal. So coming in at number 1 is Trey the Truth Oliver. Coming in at number 2, you know, like I said, he's the most underrated coach in HBCU. That's Bubba McDowell, the Prairie View A&M Panthers. I mean, this guy has done an outstanding job there, keeping that program at a high level, and also graduating his athletes as well. So, you know, kudos to Bubba McDowell coming in at number 2. Coming in at number 3, Larry Scott. Larry Scott at Howard University, the Ivy League Howard University. You know, to come in, man, you know, to get those guys focused on academics and football, and to come in and win compete at a high level, to go to the championship, something that their first ever. And, you know, just kudos to the outstanding job he's done at Howard University. Coming in at number 4, I still believe in this guy, Kyle. Mm-hmm. What he did at Southern University, competing, winning the SWAC West 4 years in a row, just competing at a high level. That's Norfolk State Dawson Odom. You know, he's just a great coach. He's just what we talked about earlier in the show, that transitioning to another program is going to take time, and hopefully Norfolk gives them time to do it. And last but not least, this was a tough one, Kyle. And number 5, I didn't know where to go between knowing that he did win a championship in Kobe year. I was trying to see which one will hold more weight. But I'm gonna have to go with Chennis Berry. You know, I had Carnell Maynard at 5. Some people doesn't count COVID. But to look at what Chennis Berry has done, you know, coming in, he was on that road with Dawson Motors at Southern. They won a lot of championships. Went in at a struggling Benedict program. I don't think they had a winning season or a championship in over 20 years. And so, man, Chennis Berry is going to top out my list at number 5. And that's my top 5 most influential HBCU head coaches.
All right. Oliver, number 1. McDowell, Number 2, Scott.
3.
Oldham, 4. And Chinnisberry at 5. Correct?
Right.
All right. So, guys, when I think about the most influential and most powerful coaches, I'm talking about not only their record, I'm talking about their influence out there in the marketplace right now. Are people listening to them? Do people gravitate to them? Can they motivate people? Can they move the meter? That's what Coach Prime did when he came in. He moved the meter. That's what Eddie Robinson did. He moves the meter. When he spoke, people listened. When Castle spoke, Merritt spoke, those guys, Cooley, all those guys, they moved the meter. How long have they been at the school, their program? Can they recruit? Have they had the ability to recruit? And what's going to be with the current state of their program as well? So for me, I'm going to start 5 on up. For me, it's Larry Scott at number 5. Okay? And at number 4, it will be Eddie Robinson Jr. Okay.
Wow.
At number 3, it's Coach Chinnisberry. All right. Then number 2, you and I are in agreement here. That's Coach Bubba McDowell. And number 1, Coach Oliver. Only reason why I have Coach Berry at number 3 is because he's brand new to the D1 HBCU scene. His first year with the Bulldogs. But you can't ignore the fact that out of all of the conferences, MEAC, SWAC, CIAA, SIAC, all of the media days, he had the best interviews out of everybody. You can't deny that. And people were listening to him, right?
Right. He got me ready to suit up.
There you go. If he got Coach Daryl Steward ready to put on the pads, he's got to be doing it. So I'm telling you, that's how I looked at it. Coach Berry had a good, I would think he has a great argument to be at number 2 because he has won 2 HBCU Division II national championships at Benedict, right? Now he's saying I can translate what I've done from there and be able to restore the winning ways over at South Carolina State after the legendary Buddy Pugh has retired from the program. So I don't know. I may have to vacillate on that, man. Yeah, I can be able to change my mind, guys. Yeah, I'm going to do it. So I think Barry might have to be number 2. And the only reason I'm saying this is because I think Bubba McDowell is getting some disrespect out there right now, man. You put his program at number 6 overall, and his fellow coaches did this. That's what I got to say this, guys. His fellow coaches.
Let's get it. Let's get into it, Kyle. Let's see what it is.
Come on, Coach. Let's be for real. His fellow coaches.
Wow.
In the SWAC, in the SIDs, in the SWAC, the SWAC. They did not have him as the favorite to repeat in the West. They put Alcorn, Cedric Thomas. He just getting into the job.
Yeah. And he beat Alcorn.
Yeah, he mollywop. So I'm just trying to understand this, man. How do you just keep disrespecting what Coach Bubba McDowell has been able to produce in the 3 seasons? Remember, he was a game away that first year from winning the SWAC West. I don't know, and he still scratches his head to this day what happened against Mississippi Valley when they went in. I think those guys were just overconfident, didn't think Valley was going to be ready, and they lost, man. But the following season, he made sure they didn't lose, right? Now, FAMU just had a stronger team.
Right.
Bottom line, that's why they're they were the national champions. And that's why Willie Simmons had a great program all together. And that's why a lot of people believe that Willie left them in a great position to repeat if possible. But Bubba McDowell, man, you cannot keep on disrespecting what he's been able to do in HBCU football. He's bided his time. Remember, 12 years as assistant under Dooley and other guys. I mean, think about it. He has bided his time, but we're talking about a guy who has NFL pedigree, played in the Super Bowl. Right? And he's a great guy, too. And we're going to have Coach on to our program. He's already talked about trying to do something with us this upcoming, right before the season, to kind of preview his team as well. But to put him at number 6 in Prairie View, I'm like, come on. We really got to rethink how we do these polls. Go ahead.
No, I have to agree with you, Kyle. Totally disrespect. But, you know the listeners, they're already hitting me right now on email, and they're asking me about, Odom. So you switched Odoms out for Eddie Robinson Jr. Why, when Eddie Robinson doesn't have a championship?
Okay, but are people listening to Odom right now?
Yeah, always gonna talk about the championship is how people being remembered.
Yeah, but I'm talking about right now. If we here's the argument. Right now, are people saying, let's watch out for that Norfolk State team? Or are they saying, watch out for Alabama State?
You got a great point. But when you hear Coach Odoms in MEAC Media Days and Jay Walker and Tiffany Green talking about those championship glory days, people are going to remember you by championships and the biggest.
Okay. I'm not disrespecting that point. Yes, he has had championships. And you cannot overlook championships. You're able to win a championship, man, you get mad respect, right?
Right.
And you deserve it. Let's take championships out the equation, Coach. Let's just take past championships out the equation.
Of course, you're right. I mean, if you take that out, I'm definitely taking Eddie Robinson.
Yeah, but that's all I would be thinking. Because if I had to say right now, what's your influence? And I can't be going Janet Jackson. What have you done for me lately? It's just right now. Yeah, what have you done for me lately? And we're talking about a struggling Spartans program, but he's a great coach.
Right.
Yeah. So I understand the argument for. I understand the argument against. I'm just saying that the argument right now, in my opinion, Coach Robinson is above Coach Odom, just in my opinion. I'm not disagreeing with your stance.
We're going to get a lot of feedback out this.
Well, look, man, it's just the real deal, Holyfield. That's how I feel, man. It's real deal. Coach, look, man, and guys, if y'all have any feedback, don't forget you guys can send your feedback to Coach as well as myself. You can go to, feedback at HBCUSI.com, feedback at HBCUSI.com. That's the email address there. But, Coach, you have your own email address that people can hit you up. What's that?
That's Tycoon League number 2 at gmail.com. Like I said, they was just hitting me on your top 5, just trying to the championship. So I know we're going to get a lot of feedback this week off the top coaches poll. So looking forward to it. Our fans, we love them. So I'm looking forward to it, man.
Yeah. Real good stuff. All right, guys, we are done for today. Don't forget to follow the Olympics, root for your favorite teams. Don't forget to support your alma maters or your favorite HBCUs. They need you. Don't forget to support us here at HBCU Legends podcast. It takes a lot to produce content for you guys, quality content, to do the research for you and to be able to make sure that you guys get the best information possible about what's happening in the HBCU sports landscape. That's what Coach and I, that's our focus and that's our primary goal. We don't want to be opinionators. We want to give you the real deal on what's happening on and off the field of play. All right. Coach, again, thank you for everything that you do. Tell everybody how they can follow you on the World Wide Web.
You can just hit me at Tycoon League #2 at gmail.com. Check me out on the Kyle T. Mosley radio show every Saturday morning. And also Ralph Cooper show every Tuesday at 7 o'clock on 1230 KCOH. Kyle, man, appreciate you for having me, and thank you for what you do for HBCU Legends and Sports Illustrated. Hey, man, I always say, man, you know, try to stay in with me, man. Don't let ESPN, the word is ESPN giving out big contracts, and they looking for Kyle T. Mosley.
Man,
stay with me, Mr. Mosley. You know, I'm just getting in the thick of things, man.
Remember Dukes has it? What's his name? Boss Hog? Handle it. I'm the handle it. That Stewart, handle it. But you know what? That's a great point, man. We got two prominent HBCU guys, Shannon Sharp as well as Stephen A. Smith, who are breaking the bank right now, guys, in the media world. And we have to say kudos to them. Sharp is up for more podcast awards. He's already garnered like 6 just in the year after leaving Undisputed, right? And I listened to Sharp. He talked about in 1 year, think about this. He came from losing his job over at Fox Sports, and now he's one of the most recognized media professionals in the game. Wow. And most powerful too. Think about that.
Right.
What he's been able to do with Club Shay Shay, with having the most YouTube interview ever with Cat Williams, and to be able to have what he's done with the Nightcap, with Ocho Cinco and Gilbert Arenas. Those guys are just killing it right now. So congratulations to him. It hasn't been signed and the ink hasn't been formally introduced, but Stephen A. Smith may get that $100 million deal from ESPN. We have to appreciate what he's done for HBCUs as well. So yeah, all in all, man, I think it's great to see what's going on in the whole world of HBCU sports. Glorilla, and Boosie are going to be headlining the Alabama A&M homecoming. Wow, isn't that something?
Yeah, that's going to be big.
And I think also one of them, and I can't tell you who, I got a little birdie told me, they're going to be at the HBCU Battle of the Bands here in the Houston area.
Wow.
Think about that, man. Last year, Dougie Fresh threw down. Big Boy came in. He threw down as well. And one of these two are going to be there. I can't tell you who, but it's going to be who. It's going to be on and popping in H-Town this season, man. So congratulations to those guys for putting on a great event. Norfolk State, Coach Odoms, as well as Coach Cozy, Those guys have a lot to prove. The MEAC SWAC Challenge is going to come up. We're going to try to get, if not both of those guys, on with us before they kick off the season, and hopefully we can be able to do that within the next few weeks, because I know a lot of people are having their final training camp coming within the next week or next few days.
Training camp, not to mean to cut you out, training camp starts for HBCUs all over today and tomorrow. So everybody's reporting in today and tomorrow.
Yeah, but I know Texas Southern, they kick off theirs on the 31st. So that's just from our end. And we can't forget about Lincoln up in Pennsylvania. They have a good program, as well as the Langston guys out in Oklahoma. Those are two HBCU programs that are up and coming at this point. All right, Coach, you can follow us at HBCU Legends on Twitter at HBCU Legends, as well as on Instagram and also on Facebook. And you can follow me at Twitter, or you want to call it X, whatever it is, at KTMOZE on those platforms as well. We're covering everything we can for HBCU sports. Please give us your support. Please be there for us. Smash up the likes, smash up the likes, smash up the likes. And if you want to support, subscribe to us on our YouTube channel as well. We are there in full effect. I'm Kyle T. Mosley of HBCU Legends on Sports Illustrated. That's Coach Daryl Steward. Coach, have a great weekend, man.
You too, my friend. Thanks for having me again.
All right. Take care, guys. And always be tenacious.
It's time to get the world talking about Black-led brands. We all have our favorites, our ride or dies, and the ones we can count on to help us live out our best lives. But we can't keep them all to ourselves, so if you're feeling like Black Opal Beauty, tell somebody. If the lip bar gives you a lip for every drip, let them know. And if your hair is doing the do, shout that out too. Because one shout out leads to another, and almost half of Black-led brands are discovered by word of mouth. Join Walmart in shouting out your favorite Black-led products, creating a new world of choices at walmart.com/Black and Unlimited.